There's so many people here. Okay, then if you guys are not speaking up, I'll have to ask someone to speak. Jyotsna, if you are available, I would like you to give me a recap of the last class.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So, at first we talked about the operators that are unary, binary, and ternary operators, and we also seen the examples. And
Mm-hmm.
we also mainly focused on the prompt keyword, which is basically used to take the input from the user. And we also
Mm-hmm.
spoke about the strings and many functions related to strings like slice, length, and all those. And we also focused on functions, and we have seen some examples. We also learned
Mm-hmm.
about the arrow functions, and we have seen some examples. And we also solved the Fisbus problem using the ternary operator. And today we'll be learning about the arrays.
Okay. So were you able to do the string questions that I asked last day? I know it hasn't been really long. We had the session just yesterday, right? So I don't know if you guys got the time since you have college and other stuffs, but if you guys have even experimented with 2 or 3 methods, I would like to know.
Yes, ma'am.
Um, okay. So can you tell me what were the methods that you experimented with, or maybe you can just paste the code in the chat box because I don't think you'll be able to present your screen. So it's better to put it in the chat so that other people can also.
Actually, ma'am, we have WT subject in our curriculum. So I did many string functions in the PHP, but I did not try it officially on JavaScript. I know string methods. I did many of them in the PHP. I didn't even tried it for the JavaScript, ma'am.
Okay, fine. On that note, I had a few people. I think Jagriti and forgot the other people's name, who were having issue with the prompt keyword thing. Were you guys able to solve it? If yes, how did you do it? Or was it something that we were missing out? Because it worked for quite a lot of people, but what was it that was not working for us?
Actually, it worked for me, ma'am. Yesterday, you kept some code. Now I tried it, and I also
Mhm.
installed that npm and sync some prompt sync thing. So it worked out
Mhm.
for me.
Okay, cool. Just now. Jagriti and if other girls, those who were having issues with the prompt keyword, are you guys here today? Okay, anybody in the crowd who was not able to do the prompt thing yesterday? Did you guys try it after the class? Why is the energy so low? It's a Monday, I know, but you guys are learning something new. You got to have that kind of excitement, even though it's Monday or Sunday, whatever day of the week. Come on, speak up. If you guys be so dull during the session, how am I gonna actually eat? We again are going to do a lot of code and stuff, and I don't want to be the only one who's talking all the time. Okay, you guys won't do it on your own. Fine. Satya, can you give me a brief about the last class? Satya Harika, if I am not wrong with the pronunciation. Okay, you guys are not speaking. Everyone, can you please switch on your cameras? See, until and unless you guys don't speak up, I'm not gonna start with anything new. This is not how things are supposed to work when we are trying to do something outside college. This is not your college classroom where you sit behind screens and do something else. The team of Web3 Learn and personally me, I've been putting a lot of effort and taking out time from my schedule to get things done. This is not the response that I expect from you guys. I See, I'm not your teacher that I'm supposed to remember all of your names and then ask one by roll numbers that, yeah, you speak up. Right now, when I'm asking everyone to switch on your cameras, you guys are doing it, right? So why is anyone not coming and giving me the previous classes like summary? What is wrong? I'm constantly asking if people who were having issues with the prompt keyword, were you able to solve it? So those who didn't have the issue, you just write it in the chat, speak up that no, we were able to do it, it's fine. Okay, there's still so many people who are not switching on the cameras. It's fine. Those who have switched it on, I want two more people to respond about what we did in the last class. Is it something that Jyotsna missed out, or anything that you guys found out that this is something that we might have missed out during the session? Whatever it is, just speak up.
Express program, ma'am, which are divisible by 3 that go. We have to print the fees. And if it is divisible by 5, we have to print by 3 divisible by both. We have to print the fees bus, ma'am. We perform using the ternary operator.
About string interpolation.
You are muted, ma'am.
Sorry. Yeah, I was saying, I forgot. God, you guys are actually distracting me today. How many of you guys were actually able to implement those string methods and experiment? See, if you guys have not been able to do it, it's totally fine. We had this just yesterday, so it's okay if you were not able to do it. But those who have done it, please share that. Yeah, you were able to do it. You found the time. These are the methods that you discovered and stuff.
Hi. Firstly, I was
Hello.
having problem with replace keyword that we were using. I don't know why it wasn't working. I just used A and K as the arguments. Firstly, it wasn't working. Then I replaced it with like AR and KA. Then it worked. And then I switched it back to A and K. Then it worked. I don't know how. It just did.
Yeah, sometimes it happens. Sometimes you'll also have issues that suppose the string that you're giving, it has multiple occurrences. Then in some
Yeah.
cases, either the first occurrence will only be replaced. Sometimes they would want the code or the compiler would want you to specify which one is it that you want to replace. So maybe those are the bad stuff that doesn't.
So in replace, only the first occurrence replaced. It's that what happens in replace, no? Like all the occurrences won't replace.
Won't get replaced.
Okay. Then for that, what will we use if we want to replace all the occurrences? How can we?
I'll have to check. I'm bad with the remember methods.
Okay.
That is why I told you guys that whenever there's a scenario where, see, this is why I tell you to experiment. Because then when you're not getting the desired output, you will get an idea that, shit, okay, this is how it should have been. So then you will search that, okay, how, which method to use to like replace all the occurrences, right? Then you might have an idea or something, because it's impossible for us to remember all the methods and everything.
Yeah, exactly. That's why Google we have.
Okay, Prajakta and Shweta is traveling. Okay, it's fine. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay to give me a heads up that, okay, this is why you're not responding. Rest of the people have to respond, right? You guys are sitting at homes and stuff. Okay, cool. So I think everything is pretty fresh in mind. So everyone's okay with that operators and the strings and the string interpolation and the escape sequence characters thing, right? That we discussed yesterday. Okay, cool. So today we'll since like I personally feel that I went pretty fast when it was about functions. We will do a quick recap about functions again. And then we will be moving to studying about objects and events and date and time and stuff. Okay, so everyone can see my screen, right? Is it visible? I can't see the chat. Oh,
Yes,
no,
it
I'll have.
is. It's
Okay.
visible.
We have coaching class till 7. 7. Oh, okay. It's fine. Okay. So, like we discussed in the last class, when you're writing a particular function, the one thing that specifies is that you'll have to use the function keyword, and then we will be moving forward with function name. You might or might not specify the various arguments, and inside the curly braces, you will have the code that is to be executed. Okay, so a few examples where we mentioned the function name as cube. We passed an argument a. Don't have to specify what a is, and inside the function body, we are writing return a star a star a. So this is pretty easy to figure out that it's a cube, and then we do a console.log, and we call the function here. Okay, so one tip is that I've already mentioned in the last class is that whenever you're writing variable names or functions, make sure that you give a name that easily identifies what that particular piece of code, either as a variable or a function, is doing, so that if someone else is looking at your code, it's easy for them to figure out. Similarly, we saw an example of multiple argument passing where we did a product function, and instead of doing a return inside the function, we just did a console.log. So in that case, when we are calling the function, we just have to specify the values, and we don't need to do a console.log and then call the function. Then we looked into arrow functions. So every time in a piece of code, if you see this piece of symbol, that is an arrow, which is made using equals to and greater than symbol, then you should be able to figure out that what we are referring to is an arrow function. And how it differentiates from the usual function is that we are not using a function keyword. Instead of a proper function name, we can just have a bit. Just a minute. That's my teammate. It's okay. Yeah. So where was I? Yeah. So we will focus on arrow functions. Yes. So instead of having a function keyword and then specifying a function name, what we do is we use the let keyword, which is similar to how a variable is to be declared. And we have this keyword called product, which initially was a function name. And with the equals to, we will just specify whatever arguments we have. Now, what I also mentioned was that if we have a single argument, you don't even need to specify these parentheses, okay? Then after the arrow symbol, we'll specify the statements inside the function. If you have multiple statements, you need to specify curly braces. If there is a single statement, you don't need to mention a curly brace. And then you can just do a console.log and call the particular function and give the parameter values. Okay. Then there was another way of calling a function. So one is where you're just calling the name, where you're just doing a console.log and the function name with the respective values, parameter values, or you're just mentioning the function name with parameter values. The second technique that we can say is using the call keyword. Okay, so if we look into this, I explained you in the last class that in general, this is how you're writing a function and declaring it, calling it, right? But when you have to use a call function, there's a call keyword, okay, which is used with a function name. So we again declare a function called product, passing two parameters. This is the function statement that does return A strict B. And then we call, this is the line that will specify calling product function. Now you can clearly see that I've been using comments a lot. So every line that has these two comment symbol is particularly a comment. The rest of the code has a comment because we have to run this piece of code in a particular file itself. So I only keep that piece of code that I'm supposed to run currently, and the rest will be commented. So wherever you see these double comment symbols, this is where I'm trying to write a comment so that I don't forget things even, when I refer to it later. So this particular line is how we call a product function. So you can see that we have assigned it to a variable, and then we're using the function name dot call, and then we use a this keyword. So can anyone tell me what this keyword was used for?
It points to the correct object or the owner.
Yes, correct. So it talks about the owner of the function, and there are multiple uses of this keyword. So we will be discussing about it once we discuss what are objects in JavaScript. And these are the two parameter values that we need, that is 20, 5. And this, once we do a console.log result, we get a output of 100. We can also experiment this right now. See, so it's 100, right? So that is how we call a function using the call keyword. Okay. Yeah, this was the syntax for arrow function that we have already taught. You do a let function name, then arguments, then arrow symbol, then there are curly braces, and then the statements. These are the pointers that I've already talked. If there's a single statement or expression, we can just write arrow function as let my function arguments arrow and then the expression, because it has a single statement, so it won't mess up the sequence if you're not writing it inside curly braces. If it has one argument, you can omit the parenthesis and just write x or whatever your argument is. If it has multiple statements, you need to put them inside curly brackets, because that is how the pointer works. So once you declare a function, after curly braces, first it will come to line number 122, that is let result equals to a plus b, and once that is executed, then you have to return result. Okay, and then you can just call the function with the respective values. Okay, so that is everything about functions. Okay, so we'll be talking about arrays today. So can anyone explain me what arrays are? I am sure that you guys already have an experience about arrays.
Collection of a single
Collection of
data type. Collection of homogeneous data.
array is
Sorry?
the collection of
Collection
homogeneous.
of homogeneous data stored in a single variable.
Okay. The collection of homogeneous data stored in a single variable. Okay, fine. That's the correct definition. But in case of JavaScript, you don't have homogeneous data. Okay, so, so the one person who gave me this definition, can you explain me what do you mean by homogeneous data?
Similar data types. Same
Yes.
data type.
Similar data types.
Yeah. So that is one thing that sets JavaScript apart. So in JavaScript, arrays are not limited to homogeneous data. Okay, you can have heterogeneous data and it can be stored. So you might have heard that in other programming languages, you can store like heterogeneous data in vectors and other stuff, right? But for arrays, we'll always talk about homogeneous data, but that is not the case when it comes to JavaScript. We see to it here. Okay. So this is how you actually declare an array. So you do a let keyword, then you give an array name, and then inside these square brackets, you put the values, value 1, value 2, blah, blah, blah. This is method 1. And the other way is let array name equals to new array. So the new keyword helps you to declare an array, and you're not putting the values, you're just declaring the array, and then you can add the values to that array one by one. Okay. So now what I'll try to do first here is I'll show you if this thing works. Okay, sorry. It has to be in string. Step one. Yeah. So I think you're able to see this, right? So if you would have done something similar in a different programming language, it will always give you some errors, because that is where the concept of homogeneous data type comes. But when you're talking about JavaScript, you can add anything. So these are your numeric data type, and this is a string, right? So potentially I feel like, I'm not sure, but I think the reason for this is because we, are referring JavaScript as a dynamic type language, and we don't specify it as, yeah, like lists in Python. And we're not specifying any particular data type with these values while we're declaring it. We're just declaring it as a variable, and we're putting these values under num variable, and just as a collection. That is why maybe it can take heterogeneous data as well. So that is my understanding. I haven't really read about it in particular, so I might be wrong here, but I think according to my understanding, this is the reason. The JavaScript is a dynamically typed language, and that is why you can have multiple data types or a heterogeneous data inside an array. If anybody finds this logic to be correct, do tell me in the next class. If you find it incorrect, do tell us all that what can be the correct logic behind it. Yeah. So we will be moving forward with it. And right now, you can see these multiple examples, right? So this is basically where we try to experiment with arrays a lot. Okay. Just like there's a, okay. So there are just like string methods, there are multiple array methods as well. Okay. So what are array methods? When you're trying to manipulate the array with built-in methods, you call them as array methods. Okay, so there are various manipulation that we're going to do. So just like we declared num as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and Sneha, we will see that we put it inside B variable, and we try to convert this num to string, and you will see that there's no change, right? But I think if you do type of B, then you might get an answer to that. Yeah. So you will see that it goes as string, right? So type of is the method which will tell you what is the data type of the particular data that you're using. So in this case, we were talking about the number that is, or the data that is stored inside B, and that is why we got the value as string. But we will see how num is working. So you can see that when we check the type of num, we get an object, right? So everything in JavaScript basically treated as an object. Okay, so even that can be one of the potential reasons that they're not really defining into or discriminating into data types. They're rather looking at it as objects, and that is why heterogeneous data is available. So yeah. I hope till here everything's clear how to figure out a data type of a particular array or particular data, and how objects, how everything in JavaScript is treated as an object. And a very important point, that JavaScript arrays can have heterogeneous data. So this is something that everybody really confuses, and since you're learning multiple languages each day, this is something that you can easily slip on. Okay. So it's really important to remember these points. Then we will see another array method called join. So people who are familiar with Python, you guys have heard similar terms, like we have something called as join in Python as well that works well with lists. Python was one of my favorite programming languages. That it was a programming language that I experimented the most with, and I personally love it. So yeah, good days. Yeah. So as you can see that in C variable, what we're trying to do is we are trying to join, use a method called join What does join do? So we are specifying a separator here, right? That is a slash. So it's easy for you guys to figure out after seeing the output that the join method is helping us join every element one by one in the array through whatever we have specified. So right now it's a slash. If I put it as a comma, every element of the array will be separated or joined by a comma. Okay. So I'll name it as D, and I'll do a console.log. Okay. So D, and we will try it. Or did I not save it? Just a moment. Yeah. So as you can see that once we change the separator here inside the join method, the output will change, right? So here every element is joined using a comma, here every element is joined using a slash, right? So the join is also one of the array methods. The other one that people who have read about stacks in C++ or stacks in general, you might know push, pop, and other methods. So pop is also one of the array methods. What it does is, I'll show you. I find it pretty cool. So anybody who can tell me how pop works in stacks in any language, if you guys are familiar with how stack works.
The pop is nothing but it deletes the topmost element of the stack.
Okay, guys. I know that my motivation really helped you boost the energy, but make sure you raise your hand before you start speaking so that not multiple of you are speaking at the same time and we won't understand anything. So once I ask a question, just raise your hand and I'll unmute any of you, those who have raised their hands, and then I'll ask you to speak up. Yeah. So, yeah, someone was telling me how pop works. Okay. Fine. So I'll unmute Gunnar. Yeah, you can speak.
Hello,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yes.
Stack means first in and last out. It follows first in, last out, ma'am. And in that pop works as that the top elements will get popped out, ma'am.
Okay. Cool. Soumya also wants to speak. Yeah.
Ma'am,
Yes,
it removes the topmost element, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, we can't hear you, ma'am.
Ma'am, you are muted.
Go on mute. Oh, sorry. I was saying that we have got our answer, and so I am obviously able to unmute you guys. But once you've given the answer, please mute yourself. Yeah. So basically, when we're talking about stacks, it's the last in, first out. Yeah, right. First in, last out, last in, first out. So if you imagine stack, it is like a vertical segment that we're talking about. So if you keep one number here and the other will go on top of it and top of it. So whenever you're trying to remove, you'll always remove the topmost element first because it was put in last, right? So when we're talking about pop, it will also remove the last element that is present in an array. So we will try looking at the output here. I will try to put all of this as comment and just see how the pop works. So if you will see that Sneha is gone, right? So since Sneha was the last element, it has been popped, and we are able to print console.log num. Okay. One thing you also need to remember is that we already discussed yesterday is that arrays and strings, everything here is zero indexed. Okay. So if you try to find console.log num.length, right? So if you try to find this, okay, like the length of the array, you will see that you're getting it as 6, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? But if you try to print console.log num at 6, okay, you will get it as undefined. Okay, so you'll get it as undefined because it's a zero indexed. Yeah, the arrays are zero indexed. That is why when you look at the last length, that is like whatever the value of n is, it will always be undefined. So you have to print n minus 1, in this case 5, to see what is the output, and you will get Sneha as the output. Okay, so you got to keep that in mind as well. Okay, so where will we? Okay, yeah. So we saw the output that once you do a num.pop, Sneha will be gone because it's the last element. But how, suppose we just want to know what is it that we popped out. Okay, suppose we don't want the whole array. In that case, we will just print R. So you will get Sneha. Okay, so when you're using this num.pop, and wherever you are assigning it, that particular variable will give you the element that has been popped. Okay, so if you have a question where you, instead of printing the whole new array, you have to print the element that was popped, you will just assign that particular array, use the pop function, and whatever variable you have assigned it to, you just have to print it. Okay, I hope that's clear for everyone as of now. We are all on the same page, hopefully. Yeah, okay. Cool. So I took these other examples. There are other functions called push and shift and unshift. So I feel there are a lot of array methods and string methods in general, but there are certain methods that are pretty widely used, and we should have an idea of it. So since you've already seen what pop does, it's pretty easy to figure out what push is gonna do, right? So it's just gonna push that element in the array. So you can see that I've created an array here as const fruits, and I've put the values here, and then I'm trying to push kiwi as well, right? So what we will do is, first we will do console.log fruits, and in this case, once it's pushed, we will do a console.log fruits as well. Okay. Wait, let me check my yeah. So if you see this, the element that we're trying to push, it gets added in the last index, and that is how push and pop in general works when you're talking about stacks also, right? So this is okay. Let's see what shift does. We'll quickly see what shift does. So it will sometimes, suppose you come up in a situation where you're not able to figure out with the term that what shift is gonna do. Okay, like when I first saw it, I was like, okay, since we have banana, orange, apple, mango, what it can do is, if you're talking about shift, it might be that it can go in an order where orange becomes the first element, apple becomes the second, mango becomes the third, and banana becomes the fourth. Okay, but that's not true. So shift, what shift does is it will just remove the first element. So sometimes it's okay to just do a print and see how things are working in that case. If you're trying to use unshift, can anyone tell me prior what unshift does? Come on.
Adds element at first index.
Adds element at first. Let's see. Yes. So since shift is removing the element from the first index, it will add element at the first index, and it will leave the rest of the array as same. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Delete also does the same thing. If you're using a delete fruits at 0, then it will remove that particular element at index 0, and it will just print it. Okay. Yeah. The other thing that I wanted to tell you guys is another very common function is concat. Okay. So when we are trying to declare two arrays, so one is my girls, one is my boys. I took this example from a website. So we are trying to concat here, right? So it will concat in a sequence. Okay. So if you do a console.log and then do my children. Sure. Okay. So we will see that you are getting it in a sequence, right? So since we concatenated my girls with my boys, that will be the sequence that is followed. It just does not get into a random order, okay? And because it's following an order, and you suppose someone wants it to be in alphabetical order, in that case, you will have to use the sort function or the sort method. So if I do my children dot sort, in that case you will get the output. Hmm?
Ma'am,
Yeah.
here fruits, my girls, my boys are constant. So how can we change the elements by doing various functions methods? Because constant is what we cannot change in the program. No?
Yeah, its values cannot change, but here what you're trying to do is you're trying to manipulate it in terms of array, right? See, we are putting it inside arrays, right? So these methods are itself built into change this data. Like we say that strings are immutable, right? But we're still able to make changes to strings during a program, right?
Okay, ma'am.
Why am I? Okay, now it works, right? Yeah. So if you see that console.log my children, if you go like that, so the first option will be this Cecile and then Lone, then Emil, then Tobias and Linus. But when you're using sort, it will go in an alphabetical order where C, then E, then L, then L, and then T. So that is what you use for alphabetical sorting. Yes. Splice we have already discussed, so we are not talking about. It works similarly for strings as well. But let's see how it goes. I will yes. Banana orange is 3, so that's 2, and then 0. Okay. Is anyone able to understand what Splice is doing here for the first example? Hmm?
It added lemon and kiwi on index 2. And
Yes.
0 is for like deleting anything. It removes it.
Yeah, and when we are specifying it just as 2, it's just adding insert that element in given index. Yes. When we are specifying this, it's just adding. So it's deleting the rest of the part in the question. Like you can see here, it's banana, orange, apple, and mango. When we are putting it as 2 and 0, it's doing banana, orange, lemon, kiwi, and apple, mango is still there. But when we are specifying 2, 2, it's just limiting itself to banana, orange, lemon, and kiwi. So it's slicing that the other elements that is present in the array. So we've almost seen most of the array methods. It might vary with, reverse is where it will print the given array in a reverse order. Okay, so you can experiment similarly to see how a particular method operates on a given set of array data or string data or whatever methods you're experimenting with. So that will give you a clear idea on how you can actually operate. These methods particularly help a lot when you're solving coding questions or so, because you'll have a lot of permutation and combination to do. You might get, when you're talking about strings, you might get substrings and operate on substrings, find similar pattern or so. So people who are looking into placements or who are looking into competitive programming in general, once you experiment with these methods in any programming language, not particularly in JavaScript, it gives you a pretty clear idea that, okay, these things exist. And when you're writing those pieces of code, it will hit you that, okay, there's something that is built in. Until and unless the question specifies that you can't use a built-in method, you are good to go to see how things work. So then again, I'll stop screen share for a moment. I'll see my notes where if I missed something.
I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Like somebody asked about const for the array, that what would be, मतलब array या let me say क्या use करेंगे, what difference would it make? Since we can edit it and we can make changes in the array if we are using const, then what difference will it make if we use let in?
Yeah, I mean, you can declare it like that also. Okay. I don't think there's a differentiation in that case when you're talking about it, like talking about arrays in general. I don't know if I mentioned this, but there are various ways where you can, or how you can, we are combining two constant arrays to make a new array. Yeah. So any manipulation that we are doing, so there's a certain way it's working at the memory thing, right? So whether you use constant, whether you use let, whether you use var, or whether you use the new keyword to generate an array, it all operates similar. Okay. And the other question that that girl asked, so we are not changing the elements of the array, we are just combining the two constant arrays to make a new array. So even that thing is how it's working, right? You are not changing things internally, you're just trying to generate a new stuff out of it. Like, was your question answered, or I got confused with the questions?
Yeah, actually, matlab, if we can use push and delete and everything on the arrays, right? That means that we can edit the content of the arrays.
Yeah.
So it's not constant basically.
No, so no. Then
so
in
like
that
if we
case,
want, so we can't make an array that is a constant, that behaves like a constant.
No. That data is being manipulated. Maybe you're able to see it on the surface. Okay. When you're trying to print a new one. Okay. So you will see that most of the times we have used an assignment. Okay. So we have tried to put it to another variable, right? Where we have declared it like, wait, I'll share my screen and I'll show you. When we were doing this, just a moment. Where did it go? Yes. So if you can see it, when we declare this num, right? So anytime we were doing this conversion to string or join or pop, right? We're putting it into something else, right? There's always an assignment. And here we were not using const. So I'm saying that these things are not making a difference on the surface. You're always getting it like that, like getting the desired output. And generally this is how it's working. So you're putting it into something else and creating a new thing out of it. So even when you're doing it here, there's an assignment happening, right? So you're not actually declaring it as a constant whose value is not changing.
Acha,
Does
okay. So,
that make sense?
that variable is not changing.
Yeah. So if we do this, suppose, see, even then you're gonna get it like that, right? So these declarations. So I also found it pretty confusing because these array declarations or stuff, these are happening in multiple ways. You can, and it's on the front end, it's working all in the similar manner. The let, the var, the const, everything. Okay, it might be that when we are talking about behind the screen, okay, where we're talking about the memory allocation on how things are working, is it different for var, is it different for const, and all of that, it might behave differently in that case. Okay, but on the surface you'll see everything working similarly.
Okay, good.
Okay. Yeah, there's one pointer as well. So we saw the delete operator, right? So we know that the delete method, that it will delete the element, right? So it is advised not to use the delete method with arrays directly, because what happens is delete leaves undefined holes in the array. So we should rather use pop or shift. Okay. So again, if just that we are always referring to the same array here. So maybe let's see this. Where was it? Did I use? Yeah. So if you see this, okay, let's have this. Oh, shit. Okay, so you can see that we have comment this. We first have banana, orange, apple, mango, and we're trying to unshift and put lemon, right? So in that case, you're getting lemon, banana, orange, apple, and mango, right? Now suppose we try this. Delete fruits at 0. Okay, so do you see this one empty item, right? So these so right now we can see it like this, right? So this is what we're talking about when you're talking about undefined empty holes. Okay, so whenever you're using delete, it leaves undefined holes in the array, so it is better to use pop or shift or so. Okay, so you should always keep this in mind as well. Okay, what else did I miss on something? Slice method adds new items to an array. Slice method. Okay, yeah, so we did talk about slice, but when we're talking about splice method, it adds new items to the array. Okay, so it will work off. If you want to delete something which is not first and not last, delete method is not preferable. What we should do. Sorry, I didn't get your question. If we want to delete something which is not first and not last, can you just unmute yourself and talk?
Like shift method is used for deleting an element which is last, and pop is used to delete an element which is top of the stack.
Top of the stack, yes.
We need to I want a I have a statement like we want to delete something which is middle of an array. As delete is not preferable because we are getting a like undefined elements in it. Is there any other way that we can use delete it?
Yeah, I mean, yesterday we were looking into slice method, right? So what do you do when you're, so once you're trying to do slice, okay, you specify two. I think this can be one possible solution. So when you're trying to use slice, I remember that we have to put two positions, right? So one is the left side that goes inclusive, and the right hand, that is, suppose we are writing 0, 2. So in that case, 2 is exclusive, right? So 2 indexed won't be considered. What will be considered is 0, 1, right? So what you can do is, if you write slice 0, 1. So in that case, the number at 0 will be deleted, and since 1 is exclusive, 1 won't be deleted, right? So if you specify the position like that, I think slice will work in that case. Is it clear?
Like for example, we have an array with from 0 to 5, and I want to delete an element which is indexed at 3. Then we
Okay.
can't slice it, right?
Why? Why can't we slice it? Wait, I'll show you. So suppose I tell that let num is equals to, what is your array? Is it this?
It can be anything, just
Yeah. Okay, let's do it 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you're saying that there's an array, suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you have to slice a position what?
at position. I want to delete an element that is 3 at position 3.
Position 3. Okay, so yeah, so suppose I do this. Okay, and then okay, let's directly do this. Huh? Why did it not work? Is it not supposed to work? Did I do a mistake, guys? Anybody? No, it's still not working. Why is it not working? Anybody who can see a mistake from my end? Okay, wait, is slice working differently for arrays? Someone wrote it in the chat, slice is working. Yeah, it will work. Wait, there's something that I'm missing. I used the string format. I should use slice in. Can someone search how slice is to be implemented? We have to specify two values in that case. Slice array method. It will work. I'll tell you. Somebody who can write it in the chat. Yeah, we can also. Oh, yeah. Good point, girl. Good point. Who said it? Let me see. Sorry. Yeah. See? No? Again? No? Why? Yeah. So num.slice is printing just R. The new one is not getting updated. So there's num.slice 2, 1. Okay. Anybody who tried it with slice? Okay. So see, we are missing out on something very silly here. I'll tell you. Okay, they have used num.slice. Yeah. Const new array.size 0, 2. Yeah, using concat is fine. Just using slice. I want to know that. It will still work. I'll tell you how. Just give me a minute. Slice.
Maybe try replacing let with const. Like they have used const in the exam.
Yeah. No, wait. This will work. New array, slice 3, 6. No, but this should work. If I'm trying this, slice method returns a shallow copy of a portion of an array into a new object. Okay, yeah, let's try it. Whosoever suggested using const, let's use const and see if it's working. It will work, bro. It should work. Why is it not working? So as you can see that when we're using this slice, right, we're getting this 4 and 4 is at index 3, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, right? But it is not getting updated in the array. So there's something very silly that we are missing out on, or slice is working differently. Okay, so slice is always slice method returns a shallow copy of a portion of an array into a new array object. So it is always gonna return. But how are we actually gonna print that particular array? Someone who got this answer?
Madam, after slicing, we have to concatenate the
The
element
rest of the
rest of the element. Then we'll get the desired output.
desired output. Yeah. So I feel that because it's working in a different manner, how it works for strings. So for strings, it was giving the whole thing, right? As far as I remember. But here, when you're talking about array, it's just returning that copy of whatever portion you're trying to omit, right? So in that case, we'll have to use concatenate together, or you can also use splice method if you want to take away any elements in the center, like which is not at the first or the last. I hope that answers your question.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. So see, this is the thing. Like we did retrieving that specified portion, maybe. So maybe we should use concatenation. Yeah, right. So this is why I keep stressing that even though we did examples with all these, right? We did take an example of splice. We took an example of concat and stuff, right? Yeah, I saw the same example. So in the new array, if you're slicing from the slice method returns a shallow. Yeah, I was looking at the same website. I think its program is right. Does not modify the original array. Whether the original array is declared with const or let does not affect the behavior of the slice method. So it will always give you 0, 1. So it will always give you what you're trying to slice off rather than giving you the whole array. Okay, no matter how you do it. So coming back to me specifying that no matter how many examples you consider, there's always a scope for an exception, right? So if you ask questions like these, see, even I can get stuck even though I know how things work, but because there are similar methods existing simultaneously for strings, for arrays, it can be confusing at times and they're behaving differently, right? So you always have to keep things in mind. Now someone used concat method, right? So if you didn't know that there's a method called concat for arrays, you would never know how to bring the rest of the array in the output, right? So it is always advised to experiment with these methods and stuff so that you're able to handle those exceptions as well. Give me a moment. Yeah. Okay. What happens if you delete the entire? Will it leave an array of empty items or delete the array from the memory? Or if you delete the entire array, let's see, let's try. I didn't experiment with that one. Let's try. Log delete num. So we delete the whole thing and why are things? Oh, can you ask him? Why is nothing working for me today? Yeah, we aren't able to delete the whole thing, the whole array at once. Now we'll have to search this also. So when you're deleting it index wise, it's showing empty item, but you're not able to delete the whole array, right? Did anyone try? People today are really, really excited to ask me questions that is gonna mess with my memory or my understanding. Anybody who can find a way to, yeah.
We can just assign an empty array to the num, ma'am, here. Just put
Yeah,
num is equals to empty array, then we can
yeah.
delete.
In that case, obviously, because you're taking away all the data, replacing it with space, right? But I'm saying that delete keyword, how is it working? So it's leaving the whole, but you can't delete the whole array using the delete method. Any other way apart from using an empty space? Anybody who came up with a let my delete my array console output undefined? Huh? I did the same thing, right? Why is it not working for me? There's something wrong with my Visual Studio Code. Is it? Or it doesn't want to run today in front of you guys. See? See? How is this working, bro? Isn't this what I did? Let me copy paste her code. Oh, shit, bro. You are doing let no. I am using const. Yes. Right. I also noticed it. See, this is how you learn. Okay. So you keep experimenting. Unexpected. What, bro? What? I can't see output as undefined. Did this work for someone else? Not working for me. No, ma'am. Prisha will explain us how did it work for her. Tell me. Are you trying on an online compiler? See, compiler also makes a lot of difference. Sometimes it will give you random results. Okay, it's not working for anyone. Prisha, where are you? Can you please explain us how did you get undefined? I just use my knowledge. Wait, I'll try it. Not working for loop. We can iterate and delete one by one. Yeah, that's fine. That is fine. So that anyway, see, when we were writing delete num at 0, we can either iterate it or as lazy, as lazy people, we can obviously iterate it, or we can do num 0, 1, 2, 3, whatever length, right? If we know the length, that is one way we know it. But I'm asking if can we set the length to 0? Very nice. We're anyway putting it as empty arrays, so it's the same thing, right? But what my question was, if yeah, splice will work, because again you're taking from 0 and going till array.length and you're pushing it at once. The question is why delete thing is not working, whether you use const or let. So it's probably because delete is working with that functionality. It is a built-in method, so maybe it is just built in a manner where you can just delete it one item, like one item at once, and it will leave an empty space or undefined space. Because I've never seen this kind of where did it go? Yeah, this kind of output for any other programming language while we are using delete keyword. It never shows as one empty item, right? So yeah, by using delete, only delete the elements by using indexing. So there are obviously different ways to delete the whole array. We can obviously do loops, we can do splice, we can do slice, whatever. But we can set the length to 0 and stuff. But we were mostly focusing on things getting done by delete keyword. Okay. So yeah, I think everyone's having fun when it comes to array methods. A lot of questions, obviously. So what is it that we have to? Yeah, okay. So this is the point that I missed. When we're talking about splice method, right? So we saw that we are putting two parameters, right? So the first parameter will define the position where the new element should be added, and the second parameter defines how many elements should be removed. Okay, so that is why when we were putting 2 comma 2, the rest of the elements after we added the new elements were deleted, and when we were putting 0, nothing was getting deleted, and we would get the whole array as it is. Okay. Now we'll go to date and time. Okay, so this is a pretty easy topic. Okay, when it comes to talking about date and time, you know just by the name itself what it is trying to do, right? So it will the date and time built-in methods will give you the date and the current time in certain formats. So there are multiple parameters that you can put. Now you can use new date method, in which you can specify this as year, month, date, hour, minute, second, millisecond, and whatever parameters you specify, you will get the output in the similar manner. Okay, so suppose we do where today is equals to new day. Yeah, so you can see that you will get it as 2023, 5:15, time is 40. What time zone is that, bro? Whatever time zone is set for my system in multiple segments. Okay, but what we have to do here, or what we will do here today, is we will try making a digital clock. Okay, so that will display the timing, and it should like the digital clock will go in a manner. So there are two types of digit. There's something wrong with my pronunciation today, I'm sorry. So we will try making a digital clock. That first one is it will be iterating every second, and the second one will be iterating every 3 seconds. Okay, so suppose the time is 20, 15, 36 seconds, and the other one will be 20, 15, 39. So it will iterate after every 3 seconds, and for the first one, it will iterate every 1 second. Okay, so there are not much methods that you have to talk about. For everything, when you do get hours, get minutes, get seconds, you will get these particular values that you need. Okay, so what I would suggest is either we can do breakout rooms and you guys can divide yourself, or and take 15 minutes to figure out the logic. I'll enter every breakout room one by one, and or else we can just do a casual one where you can do individually instead of doing breakout rooms. Can we do breakout room here? What is it that you guys would want to go with? Do you want to go with breakout rooms and get divided into teams and then discuss, or do you want to use your logic individually and then come up with logic and then discuss? Come on, speak up. Is everyone clear with what we are supposed to do at this moment? Where did
Can you
everyone
tell
go?
one second? Can you tell one
Yeah,
second?
so I'm just saying that you have to make a digital clock, okay? But then it's not something that you have to do with the UI UX, okay? So you just have to write a code in which once you run it, it will show you the current timing, okay? And the iterations either happen every second in the terminal, or it happens every 3 seconds or 5 seconds. That's your choice. So I need two outputs. So one will be doing every second and one will be doing every 3 seconds. Now, do you get it?
Yeah, and they go for like until we don't cancel the process.
Yes, right. Okay, so you guys can take 10-15 minutes to decide how are you gonna go with the logic, and then you can give me a logic, start writing the code as well, or we can do breakout rooms. I don't know how to do breakout rooms, but I can figure out how to do it. So what do you guys want? Do you guys want to approach this individually, or do you want me to experiment with breakout rooms? Come on, tell me.
Hey Sneha, great class so far. I think Aries looks like everybody's favorite. Yeah, did you wanna do a poll? Like I could run a poll probably here and see breakout rooms. There's no polling option in Zoom though.
No, we have a poll option. Can you please pose the question? There's an internet issue. Okay,
Okay, great.
yeah. I think everyone would want to go for individual only, because that obviously helps their thinking capability. Yeah, logic individually. We can also get to know each other by that. Yes, we can do that. Till then, maybe you guys can think about the logic individually, and I'll figure out how to do breakout rooms. Okay, what is the question? Can we use set interval? Yeah, just come up. See, all you have to do is I'll show you. So suppose right now the time is 20:22, and suppose it's 36, right? So this will be one output once you run the function. Then it will be 22, 20, 39, or for the 3-second interval. For the 1-second interval, I can't even type it that fast, right? So that will be 20, 22, 37. So it will just go on, right? Okay. But what you have to make sure is that since I'm not asking you to do the UI UX, if you set the time to suppose it's not 8:30 at night, but 8:30 in the morning. So that display should be 08, then your minutes, and then second. So you have to add that piece of code as well, where you have to check that if the value of whatever time that you have is less than 10, then you're having a 0 in the starting, which is concatenated, and then you're getting the output as suppose I say it's 8:30 in the morning. So then this is how you get it instead of just 8, 30, and 15. Okay. So basically you have to code something that goes in the format of 0, 0, 0, 0, and 0, 0. Is it clear now? Is it clear for the people? How are we going to proceed logically? Or how long should the clock run? So that is it, right? So unless you cancel the program in the terminal by Z or Control C, it should run, should go just infinite times. That is why I specify it as creating a digital clock. Because if you would create a digital clock with a proper UI UX, you will see that it's constantly running on the screen, right? Until and unless somebody just goes and stops the program's execution. So it has to go infinitely. You have to stop pressing the command of Control Z or Control C, whatever works in the terminal for you guys, and then the program will stop. Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys. I sent the output to a particular person instead of everyone. That is why I was thinking, why are people not responding to my chat? Yeah. Ignore the first one. It's not 202, it's 20, 32, then 37. So that is what I'm saying. When it's, so right now it's 8:22. Okay. Now it's 8:26 almost. So it's 20 colon 22 colon 37, right? But suppose I was taking this class at 8:30 in the morning. So then your code should give an output 08 colon 30 colon 15. Okay, and not just 8 colon 30 colon 15. So it has to be a format of 00 colon 00 colon 00. Now, so right now, after 10 minutes or so, we will be discussing that piece of code. But what you guys will do is, that is your next assignment that you can submit till Saturday. Make sure you do a proper UI UX, and you have to, along with that piece of code, you have to make sure that you give me screenshots with that particular piece of code for these timings, such that I can verify the logic that for actually 8:30 or 9:30 or 7:30 in the morning, your code is showing 08, 06 or 07 instead of just 8, 6 or 7. So, and you're supposed to do a GitHub commit as well, writing basic digital clock project in JavaScript. Not put a lot of time in doing the UI UX, but it's a good basic project that shows how confident you are in terms of using date and time methods and any other methods as well. So you will be doing that. Yeah, I think that was what I wanted to say. Can we use set interval? Yeah, you can. Why can't you? You can use set interval. Suppose you want the digital clock to run every 3 seconds and not every second, or even for 1 second also. You can you have to use set interval and specify it in milliseconds or so. GitHub for everyone. Yes. If you are a developer or an aspiring developer, it's really, really important to have a GitHub account. And since once you're done with the code, we'll also ask everyone that how many of you actually have a Twitter account. Maybe I'll do a poll since I haven't done a poll today. I love doing polls. Wow, yesterday it was not working and now it has so many of them. What is the problem with this Zoom? How many of you have Twitter account? Yes. Hmm. There's something definitely wrong with this poll thing. No, you can't see the poll because I haven't done the poll yet. So the polls that I was trying to do yesterday, I almost created 10 polls yesterday. None of it worked. And now I can see all of those 10. And the one that I'm creating right now for you guys, I can't see it. What is wrong with Zoom? Okay, so those who are having Twitter account, guys, you should do Twitter threads every day, at least when you're having sessions, so that you can just say it out loud in the public that you're learning this, and this is what you gain from it. Tag me, tag Web3 Learn, tag Priyanka, and these people. Yeah, I will be able to see the good. And yeah, just do it in public. It would be good for you guys. Sorry guys, no polls today. Maybe my Twitter poll will appear in the next session. So I'll ask you then. Can you share your handles? Yeah, I can. I would love to. You guys got poll? I didn't even release it. What? Hmm? Good. Then you can just say yes or no for whatever poll you've got it. I don't think I'll be able to see the result, but yes. The Twitter one only. Wow, good. Good guys, because I can't see the poll that I created. I don't know why. But for those who said yes for the Twitter, this is Twitter handle. I am pretty active on Twitter more than any of my social medias. So you can just pin it, or I sent it in the WhatsApp group as well. Priyanka will be sharing the Twitter handles for Web3 Learn and her personal handle and for Kiran's. So whenever you're doing these Twitter threads, you can tag all of us so that we are able to at least track. There are people who are doing these Twitter threads after every session, and it's easy for us to evaluate you guys and make sure that yes, you guys are following with it. Okay, somebody sent me a screenshot. 32, 35, 38, 41. Yes, good. But I don't see I don't see the logic for the zero thing that I talked. So although I wouldn't recommend you doing that, but if you could change the timing of your system to maybe 8:30 or a 12-hour format clock and see if your logic is working in the 00.00.00 format. Yeah, I see someone sending. Mahelika, yes. Yes, I see the right solution with the logic. I mean, obviously, since you've sent it, it's working for you. It should work. But it would be good if you send me the screenshot as well. And those who really want to experiment, definitely change the clock format to 12 hours instead of 24 hours and see if your logic is working. Then maybe I can use if else block 12-hour format. Yeah, you can. See, till the time things work for you, you're good to go. Doesn't really have to be that the way you implemented the logic and the way I implemented the logic has to be similar. Yeah, so Priyanka has shared the Twitter links. My link was also here. So since I'm sending from Kiran's account, don't get confused that it's his account. You obviously won't be because there's a Sneha in the end of my Twitter handle. So yeah, it's good to tag because that gives you visibility, that gives us visibility, and it's a good thing, right? If all of us are trying to build in public, if people know that I am taking this cohort for you, and people know that you guys are attending this cohort, it's good for all of us both ways. So you should always do things that is beneficial. And we are pretty lenient with you guys at this moment because we are not doing an evaluation with assignment or seeing that if you're doing GitHub repo commits and stuff, but we can do it anytime. So you guys should be very, very careful with that one. I've already told you that since we have started the 6 weeks of cohort, it's a good time for you guys to do 30 days of code or 50 days of code, which can further be extended to 100 days of code and help you build consistency. So yeah, since we are all packed as of now, we are not allocating time for that, but it would just take us a weekend and we can sit and just evaluate all your GitHub profiles and see if you were active since the day we started the cohort. So make sure you be active on that one as well, or else I'll have to make sure that you do it during the session. Okay, so yeah. Mahelika. Yeah, okay. I see most of the people have pretty easily implemented. Good work, guys. Good work. So for the last poll also, I was not able to see the results. So I don't really know how many of you were able to do it. But I will put a message in the chat right now asking how many of you have done this question, and all you have to do is just put a thumbs up on that question. Okay, how many of you have completed the digital clock question? Just put a thumbs up as a reaction. Don't start writing yes, yes, or no, no, because the message will be lost for the other people. So once you do a thumbs up or give any kind of reaction you want, I'll be able to assess it. Those who have not done, you can do an opposite of thumbs up, whatever that is called. Yeah, come on. There are 56 people. No, not really 56. I think 53, excluding me, Priyanka, and Kiran, because there are the host. Is it okay? Just let me check. No, it is not. That is what I was telling you. That since you have not implemented the zero thing, like I said, right, you can clearly see your output. It says 8:37:54, right? And once that timing is changed from 37 to 38 and it's in single digit, it goes as 8:38:0, 8:38:3. Whereas it should be 08:38:00. So for that, you'll have to write a separate function or implement a logic. Okay. People, I'm still waiting for that question that I've asked. How many of you have done it and how many of you not? I expect at least 53 responses on that one. Don't get distracted by other people sending the solutions and stuff, and don't copy, because I can ask anyone to explain me the logic. So I've got 24 responses, in which 20 is a no and 4 is a yes. So that's still pretty less. That's less than 50%. Okay, Swati, I would just want you to react to the message that I sent, which is here. I don't know how to point it. Yeah, but if you just go up in the text box before Shravya's screenshot, you will be able to see my question. How many of you have completed? Just give a reaction to, oh, you're unable to react. It's fine. It's fine. So Yeah, so I've got only 28 responses till now. I'm still waiting for the rest of 28. I want responses from everyone. Guys, come on. At least react. Yeah, so Priyanka has already written if you need help on Twitter threads. So obviously the team is there to help, but writing Twitter threads is pretty easy. You don't have to do much. There also you can experiment and see how do you do it. So there are word limits, and then in order to write threads, you have to just write multiple tweets inside one tweet. So you'll get a plus option, and you can just continue that tweet segment. So I don't think there's like rocket science, but still, if you guys need help, you can just ping Priyanka and she'll help you with that. I've got 30 reactions as of now. I still need reactions from 20 people. Guys, come on, come on. Once I get all of those reactions, I will start explaining the code from my end, and I'll ask any one of you to do it. So it's better that you give me the reactions fast, so that I know that okay, you're still stuck. Okay. Rupa. So you said that you have not yet done. So can you tell me that is it in the logic that you're stuck, or you're not able to figure out at all how to get started? What is it that you're facing difficulty in? Rupa. See, okay. So I see people dropping off instead of asking questions, which is bad. For whatever reason, you guys are dropping off. That's bad. That's bad. Just 2 minutes more, and then I'll start explaining the code to you guys. Or maybe I'll ask someone to do it. Makes my work easier. Soumya. Soumya has already done it, right?
Yes, ma'am. I'll explain.
Okay. So, were you able to implement the logic of zeros that I talked?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I have sent you a screenshot, ma'am. Can you please just check it out?
Soumya.
I have sent
Are
you
you
it personally, ma'am.
right now, or did you send it to me previously?
I have sent it 8:36 p.m., ma'am.
8:36. No, can you do it once again? I can't see it here.
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Okay, so Shravansa got the zero thing. Good, good that you got it. I hope the logic is makes sense to you now. Uh,
Ma'am, can you please check it, ma'am?
yeah, yeah. I didn't get it still.
Okay, ma'am. I'll send you the code in the chat box, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so people dropping off, it's pretty bad. See, we were here for the whole session, and now since we were discussing code, and I don't know for whatever reason you dropped off, is it because you already know it or you were not able to do it? That's not how you tackle with things. Uh, it's bad. But I really appreciate the other 50 participants who are here. I know there are people who have already have enough experience when it comes to JavaScript. There are people who are completely beginners. I'm trying to keep it up to the standards, keeping in mind that there are beginners in class as well. But everybody and anybody who's here during the session appreciating the efforts that we are taking, we are really, really grateful. Thank you so much for appreciating our effort and showing up for the 3 classes that we have done as of now. We are definitely sure that if you keep up with the same spirit, there's no harm that you're going to have. You will get to learn a lot. I am not saying that I can teach you everything and I am a master at it, but I'm saying that everything that I know of, I'm making sure that I convey it to you in the best possible manner. And even more, like I also research, I also try my hands on code before the session so that there are no difficulties that you face during the session. So it's good that you guys are keeping up. Uh, and the team, the whole team, and me personally, we are open to feedbacks. If you think that you're going pretty basic and or I'm going pretty fast, or you need more help because you're a beginner, do drop us a DM. Okay, if you think you can't talk it during the class, do drop us a DM, and we are ready to help. If you think it's going pretty fast, I can take a separate class for you guys. Those who think that they need more help, more time in explaining the concepts. We obviously can't slow down the pace of class to a lot. I'll still try to adjust it, but there are other people as well. So if you guys are having issues, I am more than happy to, give you extra time. I have no issues on that one. The adjustment and everything is on me, how I do it. But what we expect is that your time should be like you should get the maximum output from the time that you're spending with us during the cohort.
Ma'am, I have sent you the code, ma'am.
Soumya, I can't really see. Did you send
Okay,
it to
ma'am.
me as direct?
Yes,
I
ma'am,
don't know.
direct.
No, wait. Maybe I'll just drop you a text as direct and see if you get it. Then you can, reply. Because I haven't
Yes,
been,
ma'am.
haven't.
I
You
can
got it.
see your message here. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So just now try sending a direct message to me because I
Okay.
have received any of your messages.
Madam, it's showing as Kiran Datta is not in this meeting, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay,
No, but
can I share it, ma'am? Otherwise,
yeah, you can.
ma'am, can you able to see my screen, ma'am?
No, we can't.
Host disabled attendee screen share.
Okay, so just do one thing. Just put your code to every like as a
Sure,
normal chat.
sure, ma'am, sure. Is it visible now, ma'am?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, okay. So, Soumya, would you like to explain the code yourselves?
Sure, ma'am, sure, I'll.
Okay.
So what I've done is I have used a clock which is a arrow function, ma'am, here. So in this function I have declared some of the variables. Here the now variable is declared because of getting the current time, ma'am. Okay, so let hours will get the hours, minutes, so these are the variables. And while coming to the next lines, if hours less than 10, that means if the value of hours is less than 10, like 1 2 3 before the 10, so it will append 0 to it, like
Good.
0 8 or 0 9, like that.
Yeah.
And if the minutes is less than 10, like it's 0 2 3 minutes, it will append as 03, like that. So same to the seconds.
Okay.
Okay, then I have used a string interpolation, ma'am, in order to print the output. Uh, so comma 1000 here, it indicates I am printing the date and time for every 1 second. So if I
Okay.
want it for every 3 seconds, I can use it as a 3000. Yeah, if I execute this, I'm getting the output, ma'am.
Okay. So
Yeah,
can you just tell me that why did you use 3000 in set interval and not 3? Because it's integrate like
it's
it's
in
implementing it.
milliseconds, ma'am.
Good.
Milliseconds. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. So I hope everyone understood the code, but I'll explain it again. Okay. So is everyone able to see Soumya's code? Um, Just yeah, okay. So what she has done is she has created an arrow function. Good, Soumya, that you are implementing the concepts that we have been teaching in the class. So she's implemented let clock equals to set interval, and she's used the arrow function here. And she's declaring a variable now using the new date method, which gives the current date and time. Then she is declaring other variables as hours, minutes, and seconds, and she's using the built-in, date and time methods called get hours, get minutes, get seconds. And since I asked you guys to implement the logic in the 00 format, what you have to do is you have to make sure that whatever values you get from hours, minutes, and seconds, if that value is less than 10, so it can be anything between 1 to 9, right? So in that case, you have to append a 0 before that value. That is why she has written if hours is less than 10, hours equals to 0 plus hours. That means she's appending 0 in front of the value that she's getting for hours. The similar logic will be implemented for minutes and similarly for seconds. And then she has used string interpolation, could work on that one as well. See, this is why I say that it is important to implement things. Just because I've taught you that in the previous class and I've asked you to do a recap, doesn't mean that that's how you are gonna remember it forever. No, but when you're using it in your code, basic code, okay, then you can see that dollar hours, then dollar minutes, and dollar seconds. That is the string interpolation concept. It is being used, and and because she has used a function called set interval, which is also a built-in function, which takes the print value as well as it will take something in milliseconds. That milliseconds value is the value you want the clock to iterate in. So suppose she has written 1000, it will iterate every 1 second. If she would have written as 3000 milliseconds, it will iterate after every 3 seconds. So that's how you write the code. Soumya, I would like to know, is this your first encounter with JavaScript or have you worked on it before?
Ma'am, I have done a project using React.js, ma'am.
Oh,
So
okay.
I have some of the, basic knowledge on JavaScript. I don't know
JavaScript.
many of the inbuilt methods, but a basic I know.
Yeah. Okay. So I hope that these sessions are actually fruitful for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Garima, were you able to do the code?
No, actually, I was trying. I
Okay.
got my mistake. I was actually, I thought that we have to make a stopwatch kind of thing. We have to minus the time. And I was subtracting it from the whole time, not taking it
Oh.
individually.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
Mistake.
now I hope it's clear, right?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, okay, good. So I hope a lot of people have been able to do it. I see a few messages where people are asking me that they don't come from a computer science background. So what is it, that they can, what is the prerequisite or what is the background work that they need to do? So Kiran has already shared the JavaScript Notion in the Notion page, he has already shared the JavaScript syllabus with you guys. It is personally prepared by me, and it has all the resources that I followed, or I am currently following while I am teaching it to you guys. So it's a mix of a lot of websites and the developer docs of JavaScript from the official site as well. So just go through. Just make sure that when I take a 2-hour session, so I'll be very honest with you. I take a 2-hour session with you guys. I myself am putting 2 to 3 hours to make sure that things are in a particular structure. These are the questions that we are going to do and other stuff. So it's not just yeah, Shweta, you can stop the clock. It will print continuously since you're doing it an iteration. You can just do a Control C or Control Z in your terminal to quit the program. So yeah, I was saying, so it's not just 2 hours of work. It's almost 2 to 5 hours of work that we put to make you ready for the class, keeping in mind all the 70, 80 people who join from beginner to intermediate or advanced level. So make sure that once you are done with the class, you go through all the resources that I have put in. At least try to go through maximum of them, if not possible to go through all. And you will see a lot of similarities in the code, in the examples, in the things that I've said in class. So you can make notes, make extended notes that you have not been able to do it during the class. And I think you will be more than ready to, go forward. You don't even need to have a background of computer science. So it's, it's like easy work for you in that case. So yeah, I think that's all that I wanted to say. Again, Twitter threads are important. Make sure you are active on GitHub as well. We can do a check anytime. And okay, what else? If there are any questions, okay, what's the difference? No, there's no need to tag on GitHub. You should see, there's no point tagging on GitHub. We can just have a look at GitHub just like that. And you should tag us on Twitter or LinkedIn, because that's where public learning really helps. So yeah. Okay. So somebody whom to tag on GitHub? No, you don't need to tag anyone on GitHub. Just upload your codes on GitHub. Make sure that you give the repo as 100 girls in blockchain repo, and you can just add a README beside every, okay, class 1 nodes, class 2 code, class 3 code. So we'll be able to see a continuous commits from your end. Somebody asked what's the difference between set interval and set timeout. So both of them works pretty similarly. Okay, set timeout and set interval. But what I have read and what it works is that in case of set interval, the function is running continuously. Okay, although it will give you the output after the specified time that you have specified, but the function is running continuously. For set timeout, generally they say that the execution happens only once of whatever time that you have specified. So the function is not running continuously. It will give you the desired output in a certain order. So they're basically similar, but there's in terms of the function running, it works differently. Like set interval, the function will continuously keep running. For set timeout, it doesn't work that way. Should we do commits compulsorily, or can we upload the files in GitHub? Comments compulsorily, it's good, right, if you do it. But you can upload the files in GitHub as well. It's fine. You can just upload the file and just write it as class 1 or whatever readme that you added, or a pointer that you've added with it, so that we can know that you were doing it continuously for every class, and we can just open the file and check if you were following the proper structure. I think that's all from my end. If anybody has any questions, you can ask, or else we can end the class. We're already with the time. Anybody who has any questions, those who are not able to do the digital clock questions, even after me explaining, make sure you do it. I'll ask any one of you or any two of you to explain me the code in the next class as well. We'll do it very quickly so that we don't give a lot of time to it. But if you have any questions, you can ask me right now, or else, we can wrap this up and call it a day. Any questions, guys? Any questions?